You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
Hey Sugar, I'm Erica Michelle. I host a voice diary called Brown Sugar Diaries on the Rock Candy Network, where I spill all the tea about my dating experiences, life lessons, my journey to healing and wholeness, my life as an entrepreneur, student doctor, CEO of a nonprofit, and I give my opinion on the current happenings of the world. You see why I have this voice diary? I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Tune into Brown Sugar Diaries wherever you listen to podcasts, and let's sip on this tea or wine. Your cup, your business, sugar, okay?
Hello, everybody. This is Reese Roper, one of the hosts of the podcast. I just wanted to throw out this disclaimer before we get started. We talk about some sensitive topics like the coronavirus, which Joe gets. Don't be surprised when it comes up. Also, don't get it. Help people not get it. Please wear your masks and socially distance and go get your vaccine. I do tell him in the episode he should cough all over his daughter's belongings and give her COVID, which I am repenting of right now. It's not even funny. I talk about my old roommate, Andrew Orvidal. He is on a show called Those Who Can't. I messed that up a couple episodes ago. Also, I keep messing up the Skank and Pickle album that influenced Five Iron Frenzy, and it is Sing Along with Skank and Pickle. Wonderful album. All of the members of Skank and Pickle, wonderful people. I'm good friends with Mike Park. He's a nice guy. Still pretends to be my friend, even though I suck at everything like this. All right, I hope you enjoy this whatever it is, diabolical brainwashing machine.
Joe and Reese and Pickle and Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese and Pickle and Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles. With your grandma and your kids. I go downtown. With your grandma and your kids. Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids. Stay for the squids. Boots. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. 1996, we start this.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Pickle.
Welcome.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What we're going to, that totally threw me off. That totally threw me off. Good job. So, you guys, this is the Pickle and Boot Shop diabolical brainwashing machine. I almost said the P word. And this is episode 5. I may seem like I'm aloof because I am. I tested positive for COVID on Sunday. For about the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks now. Excuse me. I had like a little tickle in my throat. Thought it was seasonal allergies. Didn't think it was anything. And I lost my voice. And that was kind of it. And then it went up to Friday. I came home from work and just kind of crashed out, went to bed, woke up, watched watched some TV, watched some movies, woke up on Saturday, felt fatigued and achy, but nothing that I work out. So it was almost like I had worked out. So I'm like, all right, well, I am 43. I worked out the other day. So I was just kind of thinking it was those kind of, soreness and aches. And then Sunday got up for Easter and watched church, went out to start making dinner. I was making ribs for everybody on my smoker and get them on. All into it, and all of a sudden it hits me, and I'm like, I am tired. And so I came in between, I loaded the smoker with wood, came in, crashed out, got up, put more wood on, came back in, crashed out. And in doing so, I'm like, man, I'm so tired. Maybe I just need something to eat. So I popped in a piece of candy, and I couldn't taste it. And so at that point, I was, I did the poop, and popped in another one, and nothing. Went in the kitchen. I was like, Mom, I'm like tired. I'm achy, and I thought it was seasonal allergies or working out, and then now I can't taste. So I went up, got tested, and was positive. So since
Yikes.
Sunday, I've been positive. But the worst of it was all on Sunday. Yesterday, I felt better than Sunday. We're recording today is Tuesday. We did record some yesterday. So if you're listening to this, it's going to be like a little bit goofy. You're going to see where it gets flip-flopped or whatever. So just so you know, like, did I hear that right? You probably did hear us say something in the past, or it will be in the future, depending on how this is edited.
You're probably going crazy.
Yeah, right now. And you better have the Sports Almanac to place some bets during this podcast, because we're going back to the future.
Take you to Biff's Casino.
Yeah. And so anyway, the crazy thing is pretty much all the aches and pains are gone. The fatigue, maybe a little, but I don't know if that's just from sitting around because I'm in quarantine. You can see, but everybody else can't. I'm just like in my daughter's bedroom. They're gone to Florida for
I did not know that was your daughter's. I was going to guess that you were just not feeling up to picking up your toys.
This is my daughter's room, and I have all my stuff thrown on her bed.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the weirdest thing, the thing that I wanted to tell you about was this whole sense of taste and smell thing.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre because my buddy had COVID and he lost the sense of taste and sense of smell. And it's one thing that I think we take for granted when we talk about the senses. Like, obviously, if somebody is visibly incapacitated, if somebody is blind, we think of that and we're like, oh my gosh, that would be a tough thing to manage if you had sight and then didn't. Same with hearing. Like, that's obviously a big thing. I'm figuring out that, I mean, yes, you could still live life to the fullest by not being able to smell and taste. Maybe not to the fullest because you can't enjoy like a good steak or a good glass of wine, but understand what I'm saying. But I think it's more impactful than I thought, because you don't realize it, but you smell dozens and dozens of things per minute that you don't understand. If you're laying on a couch, you smell the couch, you smell the blanket that you've pulled up. You could probably smell your shoes that you took off that are, sitting on the floor by the couch. You smell your dog farts. Someone pops something in the microwave, or someone opens a potato chip bag or some snacks or whatever. And you smell all that stuff. Now that's just gone. Like, it's just gone. It's just sterile nothingness. And what I can taste and what I can smell, or I can't smell anything, but like what I can taste is, you can taste the sweet, salty, sour, savory, bitter. So if I ate an Almond Joy, I couldn't distinguish coconut, chocolate, and almond. I could.
Yeah, just an almond of sadness. Just
a giant almond sadness.
That's what your life would be.
It would be, and it is. And so, like, but you could taste sweet. So you get the sensation of sweet on your tongue. You just don't get all the notes of everything. And then, if you ate, I could still taste spicy. So if I ate like something spicy, like, I would get the feeling, the burn on my tongue of spicy, but I wouldn't have known what I just ate. So that's what's super weird. Super weird. What's that?
Look at this thing. It looks like a slug got dropped on the floor of a dog groomer. But that's what I'm eating. It's from Trader Joe's. It's chili spiced mango. And
heck yeah.
That's what you're missing out on, Joe, is this
Yes.
thing that looks like a slug off of a dog groomer's floor.
Two of my favorite things in life: spiced anything and mangoes. Absolutely love mangoes. So that brings me up to speed.
Yeah, that's one of the stories I need to tell you later in the year about Sonny in Mexico and talking about mango. He went crazy for
Ooh.
mango. It was a good time.
Oh,
Well, that sucks,
it
Joe.
sounds it.
I'm sorry you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But we thought we would document it on this. You were like, hey, we don't have to record. And I said, nay, Reese, nay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit down at the computer and I'm going to be sick in front of the computer so people can hear the plight of the people and realize that COVID is all a joke.
And cough all over your daughter's room while you're at it too. Just do some good.
Do what?
Do some coughing. Wipe your nose on things.
Yeah. No, definitely before they get home, I got to disinfect this whole thing.
Yeah. So you have no idea how you got it. None at all.
No clue how I got it. No, none.
That's not cool.
Everybody at work, I have people at work that are dropping like flies like over the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I just got a text about a half hour ago saying that I'm patient 0, which I don't believe I am. I believe because when I was going out, when I was like calling in, this other guy was just coming back from like his quarantining. And I'm like, wait a second, you were quarantining? Like I was doing stuff with you like a week ago. So I may have gotten it from him. Yeah.
He wasn't quarantining.
No, I tried to tell him, but they're not buying it. So I'm patient 0. And then my buddy Dre, who we do the Average Jerks with, on Thursday, me and him had like a full day of like doing all sorts of stuff and getting a lot of crap done that we needed to get done. So we were together like all day. So he got it. And then a person at work that he had to work with one day, they got it. So it's like it went from me to Dre and it's just kind of spreading. And then the guy that he gave it to is married to a woman who we work with. So she's going to get it. Like, yeah. So this will be fun.
You didn't have like a old ashtray that you kept like a lollipop going in and you all saved them in there. And then
you just, whenever you wanted one.
This one isn't mine. No, like I didn't start this one. Mine was apple and this one's got a hair in it. And then you
but I'll finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no use.
Or I go in and, depending. Yeah. And, just sneezing and coughing all over everything that I possibly can, trying to be a good employee. Yeah. So, yeah, but it's kind of weird, but nothing I can do about it now. I don't know who gave it to me and I don't know who all has it now, but yeah.
They always say cough in your elbow.
About that.
That's nice. They always are like cough into your elbow, but sometimes you can't. Like you have really long arms, you can't reach your elbow. So I recommend coughing into like any public phone, anything that somebody else uses. It just block your face. Do something with it. Books,
magazines at
faces.
Dentist's office. Yes, hoodies like somebody else's hood.
Good idea. Someone with their mouth agape. Yeah. Cough into that.
So yeah,
we'll catch the germs.
Yep.
Keep them from the others.
Yeah. Any agape orifice, cough into it.
Boo. I've been editing this show. I had to edit all our. We do have our intern. Yeah, but he doesn't want to do the extra footage because Joe and I won't shut up. We talk too much, and so that has fallen onto me today, and I'm listening to it. Yeah. All I notice is that, number one, I have a severe potty mouth. Being Presbyterian has really affected my psyche, and I just think, whatever. I'm chosen by God, and I'm just going to swear all I want, and that's awful. That's awful theology and just poor behavior. So I'm trying really hard to do that, to watch my tongue. As the Apostle James told us. I
always say there's a time and place. Time and place. For me, my time and place isn't. I mean, something might come out every now and then on a podcast, but for the most part, that's the thing that always trumps me too. Is like my kids might listen. So
Yeah.
I usually hold back, but I don't care if other people hold back.
Yeah. Well, in this
The
case,
thing
my
is, I can
mom
talk
keeps
about
asking-
wiener farts. I can talk about wiener farts. I just won't
Right.
swear.
Well, you got to have a line, and that's how you know.
I do. And I also, what happens if I made this into a muscle shirt?
Dude, you should absolutely do that. For those of you at home, Joe has hiked up his sleeves, so it's as if he cut them off on his Orange Crush shirt. Yeah, Joe, do it.
Yeah. Oh, it feels better too. Feels better. This shirt is so greasy. It's been on me. I've been sick the whole time. People don't want to hear about this, man. Let's get into the nostalgia. What are we talking about today?
They
What
don't
are some
wanna hear about your
topics?
sickness.
No, they already did. And they're going to get it. If they paid, they're going to get even more.
So on the list of things to talk about, you had put just getting bigger in the local scene and how it felt. So I want to hear about the insiders. You start out, you're a local band. You guys started out opening for general market bands too. Did you play at churches at the time when you first started, or was it all just for secular bands?
Yeah, the way we started was we practiced at our church and did all that. And I know there was a few church gigs that whoever was in our band, like majority of us went to the Salvation Army, but a couple other guys went elsewhere. And so I know we would, play like a youth night or something like that at those churches. But as far as being booked at churches, no, we weren't doing that. We were just playing. Nate, our drummer, he just booked us like how he knew to book his hardcore band that he was in before. And so he would just call promoters relentlessly. And so our first show we ever got to play was a super snowy night at a place called the Palladium. And it was the headliner was Slapstick, which was one of my all-time favorite bands.
One of the best ska bands in the third wave.
And the fact that they were like in high school and like just out of high school is ridiculous. I heard an interview with them that those guys hate's a strong word, but they get embarrassed about talking about Slapstick because they look at that like we were like young kids just being stupid. And I look at it as like, I look at it as a 43-year-old. I'm like, I wish I could write that tomorrow. Like, phenomenal.
So then they started a bunch of emo bands.
Weird.
They started Alkaline Trio.
Broadways. Who was it first? So they broke up and they became the Broadways and they became Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday went, then Tony, Tony, the bass player, went to Dan went to Alkaline Trio. Suicide Machine's drummer went to Alkaline Trio, and then the Broadways kind of dissolved, and then I think they became the Lawrence Arms. Yeah. Lawrence Arms came out of like the lead singer is the lead singer and the bass player for Lawrence Arms. But anyway, that was going to be our first show was Slapstick, Mustard Plug, and us. And so here we are. It's our first show. It was thigh high stocking night. And so if girls came to the show wearing thigh high stockings and showed them, they got in half off. So here's our first show ever. And like, this is like what we're like, oh my, this is going to be a fun scene to be a part of. And so
you were ready to objectify some women.
Yeah, exactly. And so Slapstick ended up not coming because they got caught in the snowstorm. So they had to cancel. So we ended up, and so this is where kind of the story of the insiders kind of started. So the promoter told us that we had to play longer. Well, we only had enough songs to fill like our set. Yeah. So they're like, you guys have to divvy up like Slapstick. So like you're going to play extra and then Mustard Plug is going to take the rest. So we played like our three or four originals, and then we needed more. So when we were practicing, like we would practice like praise and worship. And so we were like, dude, let's just play like Awesome God. Let's just play, like those types of things. They won't know. The sound system sucks, blah, blah, blah. So that's what we did. We would like play that. And then we started getting like kind of more known around. And like I said, like Nate was just kind of relentless. And we had like the good fortune of, whether it be the personalities in the band or the musicians, even at the time, for as young as we were, I am proud of like how I was, and this might just be me talking, like other people might be like, what do you know? But I always thought we were pretty tight with the musicians that we had. And so that's what, like, we established ourselves with other like mainstream bands by just having good relationships and playing good music. And so people would tell us that. They'd be like, you know what, I'm not really down with the whole Christian thing, but I like this one song that you guys do, or I like that thing that you do here. And they enjoyed hanging out with us. And so like we would meet the guys from like Johnny Sacco and The Exceptions and Axe Mama and Mustard Plug and these different bands from Michigan or outside of Michigan. And then it's like you're calling each other on the phone back when people did that. Like the bass player from like Johnny Sacco would like call me like a couple times a week just to like check in. And it was real cool.
Kidding?
Yeah. So it was cool. Like that type of stuff happening. And then this club opened up in Metro Detroit, and it was called The Fringe. And it was run by this guy named Tony Weatherly, who,
God bless Tony.
Yeah, who as we're recording right now, Tony passed away, I believe, on Easter Sunday. Yeah, I believe he passed away on Easter Sunday.
This Easter?
Yeah, 2 days ago. He went into hospice.
Guy.
Yeah, he went into hospice last week, and I believe he passed away on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh man.
Absolutely great guy. And so I'll have a little bit more on him too. And so we hear of this club because who came through there? Strong Arm and Zayo came through. And Nate's like, hey, we're going to go to this club and watch Strong Arm and Zayo, like these Christian hardcore bands, because this is a Christian club. So we get there and there's like 20 kids at this show. Love it. Have a great time. And Nate starts talking to Tony, who's the promoter. Next thing you know, like they got Plank Eye and 7 Day Jesus coming through, and we go to that. And then they start to have shows like, twice a month. Then it's like whenever they can book shows. So maybe it's 3 times a month, maybe it's 4. Then it just became so lucrative that there was a show every single weekend, sometimes 2 shows. Sometimes they bring bands in on Friday night, like smaller bands, and then like larger, like national acts. And when I say larger national, like, like your Plank Eye, your 7 Day Jesus on Saturdays. And so this club started getting bigger and bigger and went from like 20 kids to 40 to 100. And then there were nights where, there's nights where you'd show up and there'd be 600 kids there. I mean, it was crazy. It was like the greatest music scene in the Detroit area. And it was like it was just like this Christian club. And it was so rad.
Really?
And so, so we started playing there. And I forget the first time we got to play. I don't know who we played with. Or maybe it was just our own show. And it, that's what kind of hit us. And the wave caught at the right time. We went up at the right time. And suddenly we kind of became like the Fringe, like house band. So if bigger acts came through, Tony would put us on to open. And then if, they wanted our own show, if we wanted our own show, we would have like our own show like once a month. And the kids would just pack in there. It was so awesome. And that's where it started getting like weird. Like I would be standing in line to watch like Plank Eye and 7 Day Jesus. I'm like standing in line with my ticket and I'm hearing kids like, that's the lead singer of the Insiders. That's the lead singer of the Insiders. And then like the guy working the door would just like wave me up. Like, what are you doing standing in line? And I'm
oh
like,
my gosh.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, and suddenly like, you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting like, this is like a little bit of celebrity. So that was just like weird, like that stuff going on. And so that's how we started getting like big locally. And it was cool because when you follow like that timeline, Tony Weatherly, he ended up like Nate can only do stuff for us locally in calling shows. So then we got connected with Tony, and from him being a promoter and running this club, he kind of took over for us as like a manager in the local area. So Tony kind of took us to that next level. So we'll always be indebted to Tony for that. And he took us to the next level and got us there. And we had a great time getting there. But just this club, it was just so weird. And when I knew that we had made it like locally, and I know that sounds so weird, but I think that's why people are tuning in to listen, is to hear these things. So if it sounds like we're tooting our own horns, we're just kind of like telling you the way it was. And I think when I knew that like things were getting big was there's this restaurant that had opened recently. Now it's like one of the biggest restaurants and chain restaurants in Detroit. It's called National Coney Island. And here in Michigan and here in the Detroit area, we're famous for these hot dogs called Coney Islands. I know Coney Island is in New York. I understand that, but they call them Coney Islands, and they're basically chili dogs. Chili dog with onions and mustard on it. That's a Coney. Okay. And everybody, everybody around Detroit fights for who has the best Coney. And so this one, the flagship one, had opened here in our city in Royal Oak. Yeah. And everyone used to go there. And so after shows, we would go there as a band, and because it's open 24 hours, like a diner. So we would go, and people started catching on that that's where we went. So after a show, like we'd meet some other bands, and we'd be, the people, whoever would open for us, we'd be like, hey, come with us to National. And then like they would tell people, and they would tell people. And I knew like we got big when we walked into National one night after a show, and we had kind of stayed after talking to people, and we got to National, and it was packed out. And you would have thought National was where we were playing. Everyone was wearing our merch. What? Like I this might be far-fetched, but I like when we walked in, I think people were cheering, like people were like clapping and stuff. I believe his name, like Jeff Frankenstein from Newsboys. I think he played keyboards for Newsboys.
His last name is Frankenstein?
Yeah, I believe so.
Frankenstein?
Yeah. And so like he was there, and like he had like come because he was in town, like he's from Michigan, and he was in town, and someone was like, hey, the Insiders are playing. Let's go to the show. So like he was there. I mean, it was nuts. And like I remember I got up from my table to like go to the bathroom, and I was like signing autographs. And Frankenstein like stops and talks to me. I'm thinking like this is just like a fan. And he's like, hey, what up? I'm from Newsboys. I'm like, what? So that's when people are buying food for us. That's when I realized that's when I realized like, I was like, this is crazy. And then you get like addicted to that rush, just like anything. Yeah. It's like that rush is so addicting. And where like my downfall with the Insiders, like I always looked at like you guys, like you and guys embraced being goofy. You pulled back. I know like you didn't sign autographs. You didn't do those things, but you took pictures with people, and your personality, like the way you interacted with people was so genuine and so fun that you guys still to this day, like we talk about the scientists and the doctors that love you guys still.
It's all fake. I hate people. Yeah. I don't even.
But like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
For me, that was like my downfall with the Insiders, that if I could go back and do it all again is I knew that I was like addicted to this like popularity. And so I went overboard to not show that I really liked the attention. And in doing so, like I acted like I didn't care. There's a video on YouTube of us at Ska-Mania. And it's like a 15-minute video of this kid like going around, and he walks up to all of us. Like there's an interview with you on there. He interviews me. And I'm just like, I'm completely acting like this is just no big deal. And I want to like reach through my TV screen and grab that, that 20-year-old kid and be like, dude, smile, like love this kid, like love doing this, and make that kid, don't make him an inside joke with the rest of the band backstage, like embrace this and love it. But I was so busy trying to look cool and to look like I wasn't soaking in the attention that I think I went overboard and went the opposite way.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've always struggled with that too, because I feel like it's human nature to act the way that people treat you. And I think for us being from Denver, the thing that set it off was like, it would become readily apparent that it wasn't real. There would be, like we would play huge shows in town and then go to the same place we always went, the Breakfast King, where you had the trout and eggs.
Yes.
Yeah, and there might be 5 people there that came from the show, but because they knew we were going to hang out, and then we just make friends with them. That was it. It wasn't. There was none of that where you would go, or even be recognized outside of shows. I mean, sometimes if you went to Christian shows, people might be like, "Oh, that's that guy in that one band." But
yeah, it was weird here in Detroit. Like I would go into a Christian bookstore because again, like you're starting to meet guys in other bands, and when their music is coming out, like they didn't have Tooth and Nail wasn't in like Blockbuster Music or whatever the music stores were back then, and so you would have to go into the Christian Bible bookstore, and when you went there, like the kids that were working there were at the shows. And so they had their like ear to the ground. So I come in and they're like, oh my gosh, so then like you walk into your Bible bookstore and like you're getting your tires pumped. You go into a restaurant, you're getting your tires pumped. It's weird. Every now and then in my job, I'll run into somebody at my job and they'll see my name tag and they'll be like, are you Joe Yerke from the Insiders?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then that's like something weird too. So it was a really weird experience being 20 years old and, kind of blown up like that. I think every kid, like when you're young, maybe it was just me, but like, I feel like every kid like practices signing their autograph and like doing all that stuff. And then to like that day came around and I'm signing autographs. It was just so bizarre. It was so bizarre. And then I was trying to navigate like having a girlfriend, like my first wife when we were dating. Like, so here we are getting bigger. And I think we talked about this on one of the first podcasts. You start like meeting people, you start meeting girls, and your options are expanding. And here I have this girlfriend who, I'm going to be faithful to and want to continue dating and like all this.
You did, Joe. You
and I did,
were faithful
and I did,
and did continue.
And
dating.
I did, yes. And so that was like kind of how we got bigger. And then all of a sudden one day we got the call from Milwaukee, and that was the first show that we went outside of Michigan. Is we went to Milwaukee. It was called the Lighthouse, and the promoter up there, I believe his name is Jerry.
Okay.
And we went up, we played the Lighthouse, and 3 brothers had been bothering Jerry about playing that show too. And so he was like, fine, go ahead and play. So when we got there, he was like, hey, you guys, I hope you don't mind. I threw on an opening act. They're just local. They're out of Chicago. They call themselves Chevelle.
Oh,
and he goes, if you could just let them like play 50 minutes, we're like, heck yeah. So like, that was like, one of those first shows where like we left Detroit, went to Milwaukee and played the Lighthouse. And then Chevelle is like opening for us. And then we got to, know them and then took them out on some tours and things like that. So that was kind of how we got big. What was the story behind 5 Iron? Like, when did you guys know that the machine was rolling?
I don't know. I don't think it is rolling still. Not yet.
It's just slugging along like a slug.
No, I got this free sweatshirt.
Just snake trailing it.
I wear it every time.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wear the same clothes every day.
My kids wear Insiders gear probably 5 days a week.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, my youngest, she's a freshman. She was in school last week wearing an Insider sweatshirt, and her teacher goes, Insiders? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, like the band? And she goes,
Oh my gosh.
She goes, yep. And he goes, how do you know about the insiders? And she goes, I know a little bit about them. And she, again, how? She goes, well, my dad sings for him. And he's like, are you kidding me? He goes, I used to go to their shows. So like my daughter's math teacher was like a big Insiders fan.
So cool.
Yeah.
I feel bad for my kids because that will never happen to them. Ever. I've got
Not true.
I've got boxes of Roper merchandise in the basement. We gave
heck yeah.
most of it to the
Throw
Salvation
some of that
Army.
in that mystery box that you're going to send.
All
me.
right, I'll see if I can find some for you. You know, the thing is, it's the old style of shirts. You know, like that thick cotton.
Yeah.
You know, you remember you would wear a shirt for years, and it would hit this point where all of a sudden you're like, "This is my favorite shirt now.
Yes.
It's soft."
Yes.
Yeah, now they just make them like that, and they
Yes.
give out in about a year. You know, like all of a sudden the neck is stretched out.
Yes.
In
Have
about
you? I'm going
a
to
year.
interrupt, and hopefully we can get a sponsorship out of this.
Mhm.
Have you tried the True Fit Classic tees?
I don't believe I have. No.
Have you seen those like on Facebook? Like they pop up like in your feed, and they talk about like it's like a shirt for dad bods and things
Yes.
like that. So
Yes.
there's two kinds. There's True Classic Fit, and then there's one
Uh-huh.
called like Fresh and Clean.
Okay.
Fresh and Clean socks. True Fit Classics. It's $45 for a 3-pack.
Okay. That's pricey, but
It's
I thought you were saying
pricey.
$45 a shirt. I'm like,
No,
I'm
it's
off that list.
It's $45 for a 3-pack, and they are the greatest shirts. We're not getting paid. We don't have any advertising right now that I know of for them on this pod. But from experience, fantastic shirts. So guys,
All right.
if you're getting that, try them, check them out. The most comfortable shirts. So go on as to how you knew 5 Iron was rolling along.
That's tough. Shoot, man. I don't know. It was like I knew, I think I talked about in episode 2 about us having our first show as 5 Iron. We opened for our other band, Exhumator. And Exhumator, which is a completely made up word. Like we just were like, this word exhume is cool. Let's make something with skulls. Exhumator. So we did it and opened for ourselves immediately. You know, there's probably 30 people there, but they all just went crazy for 5 Iron. And so we went backstage in between. You know, there was a band that played in between our two bands. While they were playing, we just quit doing Exhumator. Never played again. Never recorded anything. I think there was plans of maybe doing something, making like it be like a sides project of 5 Iron, but it never happened.
Yeah.
It just snowballed. So we figured out, this is what it's like when people care about your band or they like you. And that was at some youth group. You know, they had a building and then they would have local shows every once in a while. Denver had this really amazing promoter. Speaking of promoters that have passed away this year, his name was Robbie Marshall, and this dude was like he was Steve Taylor's manager. Because
Nice.
Steve is also from Denver. He's from Lakewood.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but like growing up, when you went to shows, you went to Christian shows. Like the first show I ever went to was Sandy Patty and the Friendship Company in 1986, and saw Sandy Patty. First concert I'd ever been to was at McNichols Arena next door, Mile High Stadium. Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 were playing the Thriller album, so she'd stop in between songs, and you could hear like, Thriller, and. Still, you know, I think as a 12-year-old, I was like, man, I kind of wish I was at that other show. But now as a 47-year-old, I would not trade it for the world. It changed me seeing the show, and you can talk all the crap you want about this. I don't care. I don't think I'm cool, and this definitely will not make me cool, but I loved just seeing it. It was loud. put on an amazing show, had a full orchestra and a full band and a full choir. And it was spectacular. It was such a good show. So this guy, the promoter, he did shows like that.
Okay.
After Robbie's shows, there was no one filling in at the smaller shows. So every once in a while, Robbie would do like a metal band that was coming through, like Vengeance Rising. He'd put on a couple times, and Tourniquet. There were local bands in the Christian scene, but they really could only play like these small church youth group shows and stuff like that. So there wasn't really a scene until just they start like somebody started getting bands like Mortal in this company called Dragon Slayer, and they changed their name to Soul Hook. But they started bringing in smaller bands, and they had put on a couple shows where they let Exhumator open. I believe they put on the show where we opened for Exhumator, where 5 Iron opened for Exhumator, and saw that it had some traction. And so they had started to get some notoriety and be able to book stuff. So they booked MXPX like a month after that, and we got to play with them. Well, in the meantime, there wasn't really anything filling in the small Christian shows.
That dastardly Mike Herrera.
Yeah.
He'll rue the day one day. One day he will rue the day that he big timed me. Big timed me.
I thought you were going to say that he let 5 Iron open for him, and I think he still regrets that.
I think he's probably is still ruining the day.
Yeah, because we still open for him on a
he can't get rid of you guys
6 times a year. He can't.
Yeah. You guys are like a bad mole. Like he can't get rid of you.
He cannot.
So go on. You opened for Mike.
Well, and in between this, we started making 5 Iron a thing. The guy that was our roommate, Andrew Orvidal, who I've talked about before, he was, he's a comedian and lived with us. He was like, hey, I know some people, they're into ska. Do you mind if they come to see you guys practice? And of course we didn't care. The only thing that stunk was it was in a dirt floor basement of this house we lived in. And the ceiling like crested at about 6'2".
Okay.
So Dennis always had scabs.
Oh.
He would walk into light bulbs or walk into the ceiling.
I know the feeling.
He had to hunch over the whole time we practiced for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So these guys came and they were like, hey, we're going to put on a ska show. Do you guys want to play? So I ended up being in this gay bar / club downtown. It was in 5 Points, which is a nice neighborhood now. But when I was, when I was in high school, that was where people got shot at or they got crack. So we played at this place called the Raven, and it was a room probably like 20 feet by 20 feet and had a disco ball that was about 4 feet in circumference.
Everybody had to walk around it.
Yeah, it was, if they turned that thing on, sometimes it would cause blindness. And we opened for this band called The Rudiments.
Oh, I heard of them.
Right. So we're still new at ska. We had Skank and Pickle, Skank and Pickle with all their friends. What is that album? I talked about it on episode 2 and I should have looked it up.
Album?
It was before the Green Album. Skank and Pickle, Skankin', Sing Along with All Your Friends. Singing, something like that.
Yeah.
Had that. No Facts. I can't think. I think Les and Jake, Pezcore, maybe. I don't think we got that until we played with them, which was later that year. But
Les and Jake, one of my all-time faves.
So good. So good. They have a new album out this year. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's really good. So it was The Rudiments, and somehow we double booked it. We had a Christian show that night and played with The Rudiments, and they had a split 7-inch with the Suicide Machines. And it was Jack Kevorkian and the Suicide Machines.
Yeah. I remember that split 7. Yeah.
So we all got it because we were like, we didn't have any ska, and it was awesome. I think we had Boss Stones. I think we had that.
Yeah.
But the show was awful because the room sounded, it was awful. And the drummer for the Rudiments had a crash cymbal that was louder than a jet engine. It was so loud. And he kept hitting it because he thought it was funny, but it would just make everybody go deaf. So we played, and then these guys started playing, and they're pretty decent band. But everybody left because of the sound of that crash cymbal. So it kind of inflated our ego. And then we had another show that night. And I remember early on, I think I was in Excavator, it might have been a 5-iron, but I remember getting back in the vehicle we came in and opening up with like, dude, 4 people asked me for their autograph, for my autograph. So cool. How many did you guys give out? And it was like crickets. Probably Excavator, because hardly anybody cared about Excavator. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is pride. This is me being prideful. This is awful. I could just feel my stomach just turning into knots because I was like, oh, my friends hate me. So I think, one of my idols at the time still is Mark Solomon, the singer of Staysacre. And because his band at the time, The Crucified, I still think is one of the greatest Christian punk bands, hardcore bands ever.
Yeah.
And I had read that he didn't sign autographs, and that was why. He felt like it was an ego boost for him, and he was like, I'm just going to draw a line and not do it. So I was like, I'm going to be like this guy who's my hero, and I'm going to not sign autographs. So I don't know. It's funny now because I'm too lazy. Like, I don't want to explain to people anymore.
See, that's what I always thought. Like, what do the kids say nowadays? Real talk, Royce or Reese. Why not call you Royce?
It's because that's my other name.
Brain. I got COVID brain. Reese Royce. But that's one thing that I always thought. Like, I would see like kids find you at a show. They got everyone's signature. And then finally they get up to you. They've been standing there for 20 minutes. Finally get up there. Like, will you sign this? And you'd be like, nah, I can't. And they're like, what? And then they would hear your explanation. And I always thought to myself, if you just took the CD and signed it and took 3 seconds, they'd be happy. You wouldn't have had to explain yourself, and you would have been done with all this stuff probably 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But you had to always explain yourself. And I was just like, man, just sign the CD. That's what I was just always like, why wouldn't he just sign the CD?
It's like some low-level masochism where I felt like if I just do this, it will keep me humble. I hated it. I hated explaining it. And now I'm just a dick. I just will tell them, I'm not going to write my name, okay? And then I write Justin Bieber or something else. Like, who doesn't want Justin Bieber, the greatest Christian recording artist of all time?
The greatest Christian Toronto skateboarding singer of all time.
I want it. I want to be friends with that guy. He seems cool.
I want it that way.
Yep.
Hey, I do want to mention something when you defended yourself about Sandy Patty. Here's a little nugget of wisdom I picked up from somebody recently, and it hit me. It might not hit you, but it hit me, and it might hit another listener. But I heard from this person just a couple weeks ago. And what I heard was, if it doesn't matter what the style of music is, that you appreciate music, that's what makes you an artist. And like the people that are like, I only listen to heavy metal, or I only do this, or I'm only into rap, like, they don't get it. Like, they're the same person that like can't appreciate like an amazing piece of art. They have their painting that they, whatever, they're paint by numbers and they love it, and because they did it and it's awesome, or it fits in their wheelhouse and that's it. But and I would like to add myself into this category too, but like people who enjoy, if you go through my iTunes playlists, I have everything. There's stuff I don't like. And like I had heard from this person, it's like if you're a painter and you don't use a lot of browns, there's There's a time where you will use brown, but
Mhm.
you might not be like brown heavy. You might be more like warmer colors. And so you might use the other ones 4-1. But
Yeah.
like that's kind of how I am. Like I don't gravitate towards like boys to men R&B. I love old
Mhm.
school R&B. I like jazz. I love blues. I love that stuff. But like boys to men, Belle Biv DeVoe, that's a section that I don't really desire to listen to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's like on, I'm not like, get this off. This is crap. And the other is disco. Like for me, disco is a lot of because of what it stands for. And the genesis of my indoctrinating into the punk ska scene is like you make
Right.
fun of disco, you make, disco is dead type deal. And so I can't stand disco and kind of like what that stood for. Like that is like the whitest white of like disco just puts a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh man.
But other
You
than
gotta-
those, other than
You
those,
gotta listen to some Bee Gees,
no,
dude.
no.
They're so good. They're
No.
such talented musicians. Okay,
And
listen.
no,
Here you go.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. So with what I'm just saying, so going along that line, I understand, and so let me clarify. I understand that they're good at what they do.
You just don't like
I just
it.
don't like that. I just
Listen to them before they were disco. Listen to the Bee Gees when they had Andy in it, because they were trying to be the Beatles.
I'm not
So
gonna lie
good.
to you, Reese. I'm not gonna.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I cannot do it. I hate everything about me when I listen to like that stuff. You know?
This would be like if somebody told me they were like, dude, you got to listen to this old Alan Jackson record. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
please.
I mean, I've been dotted in my life. I mean, growing up, my mom didn't let me listen to like heavy metal. So I grew up and I was like, oh, heavy metal's of the devil. And people were like, hey, do you like Grateful Dead? And just because of the name Grateful Dead, I associated them with metal. So I associate Grateful Dead with at my buddy's house. So whenever I see a Grateful Dead poster, I see a
I've made that
skull.
mistake.
Yeah, I see a skull. And then I go to my friend's house and he's got Iron Maiden posters and he's got Ride the Lightning and he's got Anthrax.
Mm-hmm.
So I grouped them all together and I didn't listen to any of them. And then I get older, I'm in high school. My buddy's like, hey, do you like Grateful Dead? And I'm like, no, my mom didn't let me listen to that stuff growing up and I can't stand metal. And he's like, what? And he's like, I don't think we're talking about the same band. I'm like, yeah, the Grateful Dead. They got like the skulls and everything. And he's like, dude, don't be an idiot. Listen to this. So I listened to like their greatest hits cassette tape in high school. Loved them. The other thing is I think we listen to music. I think we might be going off on a tangent here. I am.
Yeah.
Sometimes before we hear the music, we listen to it through the fans. So the fans are who we associate with the band because we haven't seen them.
Uh-huh.
Two mistakes I've made in my life are I judged the Grateful Dead, before I heard them because of their fans.
Yeah.
I was like these hippie. So once I knew that it wasn't metal and then I knew about like this hippie stuff, I was just like, what is this garbage? And I didn't like them. And then I grew up and I'm like, actually, you know what? That tape that my buddy played for me, I actually did like that. And then when I didn't care about the Deadheads, I just liked the music. I loved it. And the second one, and this might be a shocker, this might be a little bit more funny, is My Chemical Romance. Like My Chemical Romance came out when I was like, the Insiders were done and I was like starting a family and I like wasn't in the music scene anymore. I'm like trying to start a career. And so the only thing that I knew of My Chemical Romance were like these emo kids that you'd see at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
That were like scared to like put mustard on like a cheeseburger. Yeah, just hanging out at Hot Topic. So I associated My Chemical Romance with those fans. And it wasn't until about a year ago, and this is the God's honest truth, about a year ago, I started listening to My Chemical Romance, and I freaking love that band.
Huh.
I love that band.
They're a good band. I've got one of their albums. I want to say something. I'm going to bring it back, the full circle.
Oh, yeah. Do it.
So I don't hate anyone, but I dislike the Grateful Dead. And I get in trouble for it a lot because people who like the Grateful Dead, it's their life. They love it. They love the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
And they're always the coolest, nicest people. And I always get in trouble because they're like, man, you know the Dead? You love them. You want to come to this Dead cover band? And I'm just like,
Nope.
I have AIDS or COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Can't make it.
No. Because and it's totally influenced by Colorado, because when we're coming up in the scene, there was no scene. Like the scene was for hippie jam bands and still is. There's still a couple breakout bands from Colorado, but it's mostly just these people up on the stage dinking around for, like 12-minute bridges of some song.
Yeah.
And it's old. The first time you see it, you're like, this is cool. These guys are good musicians. But halfway through, you're like, I'm tired. I want to hear a hooky chorus or something. Like,
no, I do agree with you there.
So that was all that got traction in Colorado, with the exception of a very few bands. There were a couple bands that moved out or that would have like a little underground scene, not just in the Christian market, but everywhere in Colorado. All you hear is these hippie jam bands covering Grateful Dead stuff, which is worse, or Fish. Fish sells out Red Rocks for like 5 nights in a row, and I'm like, yeah, this is the perfect place.
Yeah.
And here's, me and Keith just listening to speed metal and punk, and like, this place sucks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So us coming up in that scene, there was kind of this small, and this was the great thing about the 90s, was people wanted to see bands, and bands could play. I think people want to see bands now. It's just that bands made their money selling records, and now nobody makes any money selling records. But you get like 1/10 of a cent every time 100 people listen to you on Spotify or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
I got my $22 royalty check last month for all the Insiders plays in 2020.
Oh my gosh, $22. I mean, still though, that's you don't, if you don't expect it, you're not living that check to the next check.
You're right.
If you're not living those paycheck to paychecks, then it's nice because you're like, you know what? Chipotle's on me today.
Yeah.
For just you.
Yeah.
Just one guy. But
Kids,
we got
you get 2 things off the dollar menu.
2 things. But I don't know. So in the 90s, it was starting to be a thing where there was smaller shows. And somehow the kids that put on that show at the Raven, they ended up working for a promoter that was doing punk shows. And they were like, hey, we know this local band, Five Iron Frenzy. They're pretty good. You should get them on some of their shows. We ended up opening for Cherry Poppin' Daddies, I think, for this dude. And he was like, well, they have fans. We drew at that time maybe 50 to 100 people.
Uh-huh.
The guy's name is Dan Steinberg, and he totally had helped us get a start in this. And so we started playing, when any ska or punk band came into town. There weren't very many ska or punk bands in Colorado at all. There was a band called the Warlock Pinchers that broke up right before we started, and they were pretty big, mostly because they would do crazy things on stage. Like they had a meat catapult. Just people would go because it was kind of like performance art. And
sure.
Then just this
were they
dead
like out of a
space.
college?
I don't know.
Because
it
it seems like around here, like MU330 met like at college. Johnny Sacco met at college.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of ska bands, because you're meeting horn players. It's not just this kid who picked up his burnout brother's guitar, and then he found a buddy who had a bass, and some kid in their classroom that was, some kid they're school that's 6 years younger that plays drums, and then they start a band. Like ska, for as much as like people make fun of it, like you got to find musicians because you're either a good ska band or you're a bad ska band. If you just put people together to make ska, it's going to sound horrible.
Yeah.
And so it takes good musicians. It takes good horn players. It takes good guitar players. It takes good bassists. Like
good drummer.
Yeah. Like if you go through every part of ska, does it sound like what a kid hears when he sees mozzarella sticks? Yeah, fine. But that's me, man. You know what I mean? I'll punch somebody in the mouth for saying that. Like I'll defend ska, but I just think it's the greatest. Like you're either very good or you're very bad. And I don't think you can like hide it. Like you can't hide like a bad horn player. You can't hide a bad bass player because you got to be able to walk that bass and do those runs. And if you can't do the chicka 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 chicka, you know, I mean, it all goes into it. And so I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but because I was asking about school, because I know like around here, like that's the thing is like the University of Michigan and Michigan State and Oakland University and Wayne State and University of Detroit, like they were just like plucking grounds, you know, from getting everybody. Like this band would be from this college, this band would be from this college.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how it was here.
Or you all met because you go to the same Salvation Army church.
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
Which horn players should we pick out of this lineup?
Exactly. Oh, and you can't make it? Okay, well, there's 20 more.
Jeez.
If you can't make it to practice, there's 20 more. We'll get another one who wants to be here.
You all look the same.
Yeah.
We'll have buzz cuts and a white T-shirt and khakis.
Money's on the dresser. Next. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We are at the hour mark of the free content. Reese, let them know if they want to continue listening, what they can do for the other stuff, the Patreon, and if they want all the other good stuff in social media.
Yeah, I still haven't figured this out. I think you just go to Patreon. We'll have a website someday because of Patreon. Like we can afford it now. So we'll have a website and I'll just say, go to the website and click the link. But we're not that put together yet.
Nah.
So go to Patreon, look for the Pickle and Boot Shop. You can sponsor us. Don't feel obligated to. Anybody can listen to this. It should be on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Buzzsprout allows you to download it for free. There are a couple other things I forget. Anyway, though, we'd like to thank all of our Patreons, our patrons.
Yeah, read them off by name. We have what now, 12?
We have 13.
Oh, read them off by name.
Okay. Our patrons. Okay. Just today, Stephen Pasquale.
Ooh, good Irish name.
Yeah. He supported us for $5. Chris Signs, $5, sweet pickle.
Yeah.
Brian Canberra, sweet pickle.
Yeah.
Sam Perez, $10, dill pickle.
Ooh.
Benjamin Lewis, another dill pickle. Eric Stollard.
Nice.
Chris Williams, another dill pickle. John Beaver. Ben Parks, One Wall Cinema. Stephen Grigsby, Timothy Primo, Reed Young, and the administrator of the the I Hate 5 Iron Frenzy Facebook group, Bill Shannon. Thanks, you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we'd like to thank, as always, our intern who is helping to edit this, Dante, who has a severe nut allergy. And
also our intern that doesn't do anything, Brandon Ebel. He's about on his last leg.
Still, though,
he does nothing. He does nothing.
No. You can hit us up.
It's almost like he doesn't even know he works here.
I don't. Sometimes, some days I think he doesn't.
What an idiot! What an idiot!
You can hit us up on Twitter at PB Oot Shop, capital P, capital B, Oot Shop. I'm sorry about that. It was all that was available. You can email us at pickleandbootshop@gmail.com. And
I think we have a Facebook page up and running. I started it, but I don't know if it's like public.
Oh, cool.
If there's anybody out there that like Bill helps with the I Hate 5 Iron Frenzy, if there's anybody that wants to help run our page with our 5 Iron Frenzy, sorry, COVID brain, the Pickle and Boot Shop Facebook page, if anybody wants to help out or something, get a hold of us. because
Joe will give you his credit card number.
Yeah, because we could use the help.
Yeah. Yeah, and just remember, guys, that for less than a cup of coffee a day, or the same cost that I can't say this. Same that it costs to feed an entire impoverished village. You can sponsor us to say inane things and just talk on about stuff. I don't know. Make fun of the Supertones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And rightly so, because of the things they've done to us.
They're terrible people. But more about that another time. You guys have fun with the subscribe stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. I got a snack, and then there's some weird Amish-looking kids out in my yard playing in the sprinkler.
With a piñata.
In the sprinkler, which is genius. You
With
hit that thing once, and it's going to break open.
Yeah, with their butter churning thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're churning butter and hitting a piñata in your front yard.
With the sprinkler on.
Yeah.